Hey, artsy friends, I'm finally back. I have been sick for so long. I'm still not 100% over it, but I think I'm well enough to do my flip through video. So I finished my second composition art journal a few weeks ago and then have been down for the count. So here it is. If you watched the last video that I put out was when I did this the cover, and I love it. And covers for me are always one of those things that like I usually save for last, and then they feel so high stake because I worry that if I don't like it, that every time I look at the journal, it's like that's the one thing that like sticks out in my mind. But I love it. I think for the next journal, I'm gonna do the cover probably either first or earlier on, not save it to the end, just kind of whenever I feel inspired. But this is my second composition art journal series completion. And the first one I did, I prepared all of the pages ahead of time with paints and things. And this one I did not. So I did it both ways. And I think it was good to do it both ways because the first time it was new to me. And so having some prepared pages helped just get things rolling and get things started. So, but I kind of like just starting with a blank page. I think so far I didn't run into a lot of that blank page syndrome where you just don't know where to start. So anyway, without further ado, we shall do the flip through of my composition art journal. All right. So this I started from front to back, whereas the first series that I did, since I prepared all the pages ahead of time, I just kind of flipped around in any order whenever I felt inspired. So I started with the first page, and the road of life is paved with flat squirrels who couldn't make a decision. Be decisive. I am an indecisive person, or at least have been in the past, and so I use my art journaling a lot to multiple reasons, really. I like to capture thoughts that are mulling around in my head, but I like to put things down that will always serve to be a good reminder of kind of principles and lessons in life that I need to live by. So I need to be decisive. And this was an early on page that obviously the second page that I did, and I had just bags. I still do. I have tons of old stickers and I never really know what to do with them. I don't know. I don't really like incorporating stickers into my art pages typically. So, but I just thought it'd be fun to do a whole collage of stickers. And so it was fun. It was a fun process. And then I used a paint strip and wrote, "You are never too old to play." And we're not. I sought Yahweh, and he delivered me from all my fears. Yahweh is the name of the Lord in the Bible. Anytime you see all capital Lord, the original Hebrew is Yod He Vav He, and people have different variations of pronunciation, but I usually say Yahweh. And I think I did. Excuse me. I'll try to edit out my coughs if they get too crazy. But just started with some collage, did some glitter glue back here. Some of the collage papers were some of my first attempts at jelly printing, which I still have not mastered or experimented with too much anymore. But so anyway, I just wrote out my verse, my quote, and then created an outline and filled in the negative spaces. So just like that. Okay. So this page, I would say, is probably the most boring page in my book, I think. I'm sure I had fun doing it, but I don't know. When I flip through it, I'm just like, maybe partly because there's no focal point. It's just kind of a pattern that I'm sure was fun at the moment, but it's just not my favorite. So, and speaking of which, as I flip through, I would love to read in the comments, which pages are your favorites. So you could call them Be Decisive, the squirrel, the sticker page, whatever, however you can identify it. So, okay, moving on. All right, so these are all security envelopes. And when I have seen people make collages that look like an actual image, I'm just in awe. And so that's definitely something that I want to experiment with more and learn how to do. And I thought this would just be a really easy first attempt at that because making waves is not too difficult. And I had fun. There's not too many red security envelopes. I think this was an old Target credit card statement. But and then filling it in the water and the waves a little bit. I was trying to make it look like a reflection in the water. Yeah. Okay, so these were a repurposed attempt to. I was playing around with index cards. I saw that as a possible art medium that I thought it would be fun to play around with, and I did it, and I just wasn't really excited about it. Like, I don't know, it just didn't give me that little spark of joy. So I cut them up and collaged them, pieced them. I mean, I guess technically this is collaging because it's taking parts of things, but I feel like it's more like a mosaic. Like I like made sure all the angles fit together and butted up against each other. So these are not overlapping images, but individual. So once I did that, then I went and did some mark making over the top. And then I left a little bit down in the corner. Never give anyone the power to take away your joy. So sometimes when I get down in the dumps or grumpy or sad or whatever, I'm reminded that joy comes from the Lord, and I have to give people permission to take it away. Not to say that whenever I say something like that, I don't want people to feel like they're not allowed to be hurt or whatever, that's invalid. It's not. But we do have a lot of power within ourselves to decide who's gonna hurt our feelings. Some random stranger on the street insults you, like, does it really matter? Just, don't give them that much power over you. The earth is the Lord and everything in it, the world and all who live in it. That's from Psalm 24. So I played around with some magazine weaving here. That was kind of fun, and did some kind of rainbow colors and what do they call the kidnapping when they ransom note? That's kind of always what it reminds me of. Pardon me again. I don't want to have to do too much editing, but if I break out in full horrible coughing fit, then I'll have to. But anyway, this is a fun method. I think I want to do some more of this magazine, the paper weaving. And I started in the middle and wove outward. And I was just watching a video where someone started at the top and then wove their way down. So I might try it that way and see if it's easier. This way worked just fine, but I always had to kind of bunch things up, and yeah. Oops, skipped a page. This is just a doodle page that was fun to make. Again, I don't know, when I flip through my journals, these aren't the kind of pages that I get really excited about seeing again, but I definitely had fun making it, I know. And that's kind of for me, the purpose of art journaling is twofold. Sometimes it's just the process, like literally for the moment, and then it has served its purpose. I could technically throw it away if I wanted to, and I would still have gotten value out of it. But I enjoy preserving those things. I also enjoy preserving the good, the bad, and in the middle, because I'm not too much of a perfectionist, and I want to keep it that way. I don't want to ever feel like I can't show my flaws. I can't show, the growth, because I'm still fairly kind of new at all of this stuff. And in sharing on my channel, I always want people to feel like they can take risks, and not everything has to be a masterpiece. This page, Mercy, this is from a song that at the time was just really on my heart. I love the song. I love the lyrics, and I built up this background, and I really liked the background. And then I went and wrote the lyrics of the song in a gold marker over the top of the whole thing. And I kind of feel like it took away from the background more than I would have liked, but I'm still happy with it. It's okay. I love all the shininess. Okay, this one was kind of fun because my computer had a meltdown, and the printer printed out all this crazy gobbledygook, but instead of throwing out, I thought it would make for kind of some fun collage base material. So I started with that. And I cut these mandalas out of a mandala coloring book and just did some mark making around there. But the overall thing that I was kind of focusing on that day or that week was not to worry and just to trust that God's got me. He's got you. Don't worry. Okay, another doodly page. This is kind of a neurographic type of page where, design where you kind of go over the corners and round them off, and it was fun. Yeah, that's usually all I have to say about like the doodly pages is like, oh, it was fun. All right, when you have exhausted all possibilities, remember this: you haven't. Thomas Edison. And one of the quotes that has always stood out to me is that when people asked him if he got frustrated when he tried to invent the light bulb, because he failed so many times, he said, no, I've just discovered, I don't know if it was 600 or what the number was, but that many ways to not make a light bulb. So anyway, he just had a different way of looking at things, and he did not limit himself. And I really struggle with self-limiting thinking. So that's why I put this quote in here. So the base of this page is receipts. And it's funny because once you kind of Mod Podge these receipts, most of them, the images like just disappeared and turned solid white. But this little square there was something on the receipt that somebody had, circled or had, it was probably like take a survey or whatever. But it's funny because that's the only thing that remained. So it's just kind of like a random little blurb there. But anyway, so did some stenciling. Ta-da. Choose this day whom you will serve, but as for me and my house, we will serve Yahweh. So I had done some handmade stamps, and so created some collage fodder out of that. Tried to make some little cutouts of the stamp. Oh, I made like a little flower stamp here, and then I continue to draw some of these just basic little they're really like childlike flowers, but some swirls, some dots, just doodles. I like to leave a little bit. This composition notebook was graph paper rather than lined, and so on most pages you'll see a little bit of the graph paper peeking through. Okay, this I really liked, and then in fact, when I posted it, I feel like the thumbnail didn't do it justice. So maybe I can show you. I don't know. I really like it. I don't know. I didn't add as much detail as I typically do. But choose to live, not merely exist. Being sick for these last couple of weeks, I've basically been very, very unproductive. And some days I was just in bed all day, and other days I was just, useless. So I felt like I was just existing. So I'm starting to get on the tail end of that, and my mental energy is starting to come back, and I'm just, I want to live. I want to get out and do life. It's actually been kind of a good thing for me to get kind of a renewed perspective on what kind of attitude to have. Like sickness forces me to just exist, but when I'm healthy, I have a choice. The meaning of life is to find your gift, and the purpose of life is to give it away. Quote by Pablo Picasso. On this page, I used wrapping paper from a gift bag that I think my daughter got for her birthday. I used that as kind of the background, the floral collage. So this is, I think that's all I need to say about that. Let's moving on. All right. This was an inspired piece from something I saw on Pinterest, I think. I followed kind of a certain pattern. I used at first I think I made it like this and started this way, and I was kind of like free-handing this, and it was not doing well. But then I kind of figured out that if I cut out a circle and then I made the arches a little, but it was, I don't know, I got better as I went. So you have to go back and watch that video. But I put in, first I started with kindness, and then I just thought of all of the attributes of the fruits of the Spirit, because the fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, goodness, gentleness, kindness, self-control, patience, peace, faith, not in that order. And yeah, just some doodles. The only thing about this is I was disappointed in myself afterwards that I did is I sprayed it with a finishing spray, and then it kind of took away the contrast of the kind of the black matte with the shiny silver, because before I sprayed it, the silver really popped off the page, and now it doesn't. It kind of all just feels very like kind of the same. So when life gives you lemons, go bananas. Go bananas. Go bananas. I had another gift bag that I tore open and laid down for a background, and then it had some bananas on it that I thought were really cute. So I used tried to kind of match the color of the banana, and did some painting and some neurographic lines, and I like this kind of organic, flowy way of doodling. I kind of made up this quote because, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, but sometimes, you just gotta go bananas. Okay, this is probably one of my favorite pages. It was one of my most favorite pages to make, and I like the look of it too. But what I loved about it was, these are all pieces of a masterboard. I started with a 12 by 12 masterboard, and first I collaged, and then I painted, and then I stenciled, and then I doodled and stamped and did all of these things, and then I flipped it over and cut it down into these size pieces, and I think there's a few extra pieces, and then arranged them in a way that I liked. But as I was doing the collaging, and I was talking about just enjoying each step of the art journaling process, and not to like rush it to completion. Like, I want to, so focused on the finished product that I'm not enjoying even the beginning stages of a page that you might not even really actually see very much at the end. And I was relating it to raising children, how, when they're babies, you enjoy that baby stage. Every stage has its struggles, but it also has its special moments, and you don't want to rush through anything. So I was like enjoying the collaging stage, and then enjoying the doodling stage, and then enjoying the mark making and the painting. And each stage I was just trying to like really enjoy it. And then I know there's somewhere here, there's a toilet. Where is it? I don't know. Right there. It was like a catalog from an old plumbing book or something like that. And I thought that was so funny because I was relating it to childhood. So like that was the potty training stage. Anyway, so then, when you cut them all out, each one is so unique and so different, just like our children, and just like how each stage of life can be so unique and different. And we just really don't know, but the elements are all there. Anyway, you can go back and watch that video for more of the thoughts on that. Embrace uncertainty. Some of the most beautiful chapters in our lives won't have a title until much later. Bob Goff. This one was fun. Originally, I thought I was going to, do like one color, like make bright pink or something and incorporate it. But I'm glad I left it black and white. It's fun. I don't know. So it reminds me of a city, like a futuristic city, looking down and like seeing like, I don't know, maybe these are sidewalks or trains or buildings or something like that. I don't know. Or like the inner workings of some mystery machine. Maybe it makes ice cream. I don't know, but it was really fun. I could do some more of these for fun. The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. That was Marcus Aurelius. The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. So, mindset is everything. My goodness, that is something that I have definitely learned and have been super aware of the last few years. And I think art journaling has really helped me with that, because I I think about the thoughts that I want to capture, and I, try to look for wisdom out there and apply it and allow it to contribute to the happiness of my life. Anyway, I like how this composition is balanced. This is probably another one of my favorite pages. It just feels very, I don't know, it just feels very done, very balanced, very like it's not too much and not too little, and I like it. And this was, I think, my most popular video. We are under no obligation to accept every thought that enters our mind. Test everything. So I started with doing some homemade collage fodder on this one with just found objects around the house that I stamped onto book pages, and sometimes I just used a brush and made some things. So then I collaged the whole page and added my quote is on masking tape. And then I used the same colors to kind of accent and doodle on top. And then these rings I cut out and then created, like, you just cut a little slit so that you can make them all, work together. Anyway, this was one of my most popular ones, like I said. And yeah, just because we think something does not mean it's true. We got to test our thoughts, because sometimes we can lie to ourselves. We can accept lies that come from other people or the spiritual realm, where, there is a enemy that sets himself up against us and against God, and does not want us to live free. All right. Never regret a day in your life. Good days give happiness, bad days give experience, worst days give lessons, and best days give memories. So I had fun with this. This kind of reminds me of like Mexican art. When I was down in Mexico, there's a lot of these colors, and sometimes they'd paint, I can't think of the name of it right now. I don't want to go look for it, but where they do a lot of animals that they kind of decorate artistically, like animal drawings or sculptures or things. It's kind of cool. Be patient when becoming someone you've never been before. I've never experienced this day before. I'm becoming someone new. We are becoming someone new all the time. And when we are intentionally trying to maybe work on an area of our life that we want to change, we have to be patient with ourselves and give ourselves some grace. But this background is like brown paper bag, I believe. Yep. Stop waiting for Friday, for summer, for the future, for life. Happiness is achieved when you stop waiting for it and you make the most out of the moment you are in now. Oh, this really resonated with me. This was another really popular page. So we'll see. I want you to hear from you guys in the comments what your favorite pages are. There was a lot that went into this. First, I had this idea for this flap because I thought I'd add a little bit of dimension here in my composition notebook. I don't do a lot of like junk journaling and all of that, but I do appreciate all like the dimension about that aspect. So I wanted to experiment a little bit with that. So I did quite a lot in this page. So I used some modeling paste on a stencil first. So you can see that this is embossed, raised, embossed. And then I went over it with the gold marker to make it gold. And that was one of the final stages. I started off like, I don't know, with an ink pen doing like neurographic art or something like that. Use some washi tape, cut out some of these circles are stenciled and some of them are cut out. And then on the other side, the best way to predict the future is to create it. So it kind of goes hand in hand with this quote, trying to be more fully present day to day. And I've actually kind of, again, had this similar aha while I've been sick, is like, instead of focusing maybe on the big picture disappointments in life, well, why not just focus on the little things? Like every day, do something that is going to fuel your sense of purpose, or exercise your love, or just help you become the person that you want to be. So if you want to be more connected, if you want to be a better friend, if you want to be an encourager or whatever, just every day, just do a little something. And or maybe you want to, I don't know, just be more adventurous. Like pick a random recipe that sounds weird and just try it, like for the heck of it. I don't know. So the best way to predict the future is to create it. So yeah, we have to be intentional about things. Anyway, lots of gold glitter there. Moving on. Okay, this is fun. I really like this grid journaling thing. I've seen it a lot, and these white pieces are watercolor paper. I'm going to sit down so my voice might change here. There we go. I did this separately outside of my book and taped down in between the grids. And then I was able to use watercolors and some markers and some stamps and some just different things, and really had fun experimenting with different styles in each box and what could I do in each box, and just using like the same basic colors. And then these little circles are from a crown that was from, I think, my daughter's birthday party. These are also pieces of the crown, and then I just glued them around and added a little bit of accent on top to each one. Cut it out, put it there. It was fun. I want to do it more. That's what I say about so many things. It was fun. I want to do more. Okay. All of creation declares the glory of Yahweh. So I have this aversion to trying to draw anything because I'm convinced that it'll be horrible. So I don't do it very much or ever. So I really wanted to push myself a little bit, because when this creature popped up, just, I don't know, in Facebook or some social media or something, I just saw a picture of this rainbow lobster thing, and I was like, that is the most beautiful, amazing creature that, hardly anybody ever sees because they live in the ocean, in the bottom of the ocean. But yeah, I just thought I would give it my best shot, because I know sometimes people have expressed just, feeling nervous about art, but why? Who cares? Who cares if it turned out horrible? I think he's okay. He's not great, but he's okay. He's kind of cute. He makes me happy. I love the colors, and I just love that all of God's creatures reflect his glory, because he's creative. He is the best artist. Trust. So since I had fun doing the flap back here, I thought I would try another flap on the outside. So that's kind of fun. And I did some kind of similar things. So I started with the colors, and I took a credit card or something and smeared it across the page. And that's where I started. Then I did some stenciling with some silver, if you can see in the background. Did some more modeling paste to give it embossed, a raised embossed, and then I went over with a marker and then with some glitter glue. All right, and I wrote down Psalm 40, 1-4. I waited patiently for Yahweh. He inclined to me and heard my cry. He drew me up from the pit of destruction, out of the miry bog, and set my feet upon a rock, making my steps secure. He put a song in my mouth, a song of praise to our God. Many will see and fear and put their trust in Yahweh. Blessed is the man who makes Yahweh his trust. So, I trust him. Aloha. Aloha is a really cool word. It can be a greeting. It can mean love, peace, compassion, grief, farewell. It's a Hawaiian word. Now, as the book has been closed, it has kind of smushed down, but I actually only glued down the center of my flowers, because the petals can, at first they were just curling up naturally, which made it really, really neat. So if you'll see that video, you'll see that they were nicely curled, but I still like them. Yeah, so I just cut those out of watercolor. I think I made Yeah, I cut them out of watercolor paper. I think the petals I made with watercolors, I think. Or maybe they were acrylic. Sorry, I don't remember. I really got into this glitter on quite a few pages here. Glitter, glitter. I like shiny, sparkly things. That makes me happy. Which, you can look at so many videos out there, watch videos or other people's artwork, and you're like, oh man, I wish I could do that, or I could be like that. And as a YouTube content creator, I especially while I've been sick and I haven't been doing a whole lot, I've been watching, and I find myself thinking, oh, I need to be more like that person or that. You know what? Stop it. Just be yourself. Like, art is so personal that you don't even have to understand necessarily why you like something and don't like something else. Like, just, I think of like electricity and how like two wires, like if have to be touching, and then they get like a little, and then, you can light up the light bulb or whatever it is. And that's how it is. Like when you're looking for inspiration, like you're like, no, oh, that's cool. That's cool. And then you see something go, ooh, and it just goes, pink, and it just lights up that little spark. And so like that's the goal for me, is to not create just for content or for to necessarily like try to be like someone else. I love gaining inspiration from other people, but I don't want my art to be like theirs. I just want to follow that spark. So follow the spark. Yay. Okay, you can always find what you're looking for. And by that, I mean, if you're looking for the good in people, you'll see the good. If you're looking for the bad, you'll see the bad. It's just the way it is. In society, we can go, oh, I don't know. I don't even think it needs more explanation. I think you know what I mean. But I find that life is a lot better when I choose to look for the good. Autumn is God's way of showing us how beautiful change can be. Autumn's one of my favorite times of year, for sure. I love that cool, cozy crispness and the smell in the air, and it's just beautiful. So anyway, I had attempted, these are traced from leaves that I picked in my yard, and then I was trying to like stamp them on there, and that didn't work. And then I tried coloring them in, and I was going to like glue them on, and that didn't, I don't know. So it was just kind of an evolving piece. And then I liked, when I made these little rings around there, it immediately made me think that, oh gosh, this looks like water, and these are like little ripples in the water, and the leaves are just like floating. So anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. Watercolor paper again. I just cut out I knew I was going to glue it back in here. One thing that helps me personally to feel good about and keep momentum going, like for whatever I'm doing, whether it's art or anything in life, is to just have consistency. So I just really felt like doing a piece like this, and I knew I needed watercolor paper because I couldn't do it on just regular composition paper. And so I was like, is that cheating? Like doing it separately and putting it in here? No, I needed that consistency of like filling this journal. So that's why I did that. So it's a totally different medium really in the journal, but I connected the fillers in there in the middle. But this is one of the earliest types or styles of, I guess you can technically call it mixed media art, that I experimented with, and I've really always enjoyed it. In fact, while I've been sick, I've been doing a lot more of this type of thing. If you've seen any of the shorts that I put out, I paused my recording there, so I kind of lost where I was at, what I was talking about, but I'm just going to move on. You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. I love that. So this was collage base with a wash of white and some colors, some stencils, some little dangly doodles. I did experiment a little bit with the font. I used tracing paper or carbon paper, printed this quote on my computer, and then put the carbon paper or the tracing paper down, and it transfers it on. Maybe it's called transfer paper too. I don't know. a lot of names for it, but so that's one thing you can try if you are not super confident about lettering, or and you want to make something with an interesting font. There you go. That's an idea. Oh yeah, life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. So I used some masking here to create a grid, and just use different color backgrounds for the block, and then stenciled over them, and just experimenting. And these came out of like an oops. Like after I had cut out all of my flowers that I made, I had some black paper, and one of these pieces were just like an oop, and I was like, oh, I kind of like how it just curls or swirls or whatever. And so I just kind of pieced it on around the page, and I think it's kind of fun how it turned out. Kind of 80s-ish vibe, maybe. I don't know. And I like the song Jack and Diane. And sometimes in my stage of life, I feel like the thrill of living is gone, but life keeps going. Always seek to do good to one another. Oh no, what happened? Man, my coughing is getting worse. I don't know what happened here. I'm missing my, oh, here it is. Always seek to do good to one another and to everyone. Just going to take some glue real quick. See if that'll stick, hopefully. So I glued it down, and then I took a little thin marker and kind of traced around it. This, I have an old Bible that I use. Well, it's just a New Testament, actually, that I used to tear up as collage fodder that I just got out of a Goodwill bin that was doomed for destruction. That's kind of how I justify like tearing up Bible pages. It's like, oh, well, it was going to get destroyed anyway, so I'm going to turn it into art. So I think it was actually in this verse. Always seek good to do good to one another and to everyone. So one another being like those who are fellow Christians in the body of Christ, and to everyone, to anybody who's not. Just we are called to be good people, to love. So this these strips were from this page. So when I peeled them up, I thought it was kind of neat how they had it's almost like I created like washi tape with the printing on top. And so as I was just laying it down, I just left it that way. So this is kind of a weird, it's like two individual spreads, and this is really not anything that intricate, but it's okay. I just decided to leave it like that. All right, this is a retro journal page. This is just complete collage craziness. I found a couple, I just wanted to play around with magazine clippings. I don't do that a lot. So sometimes I like to just, I don't know, you don't knock it till you try it kind of thing, right? So yeah, I don't have a lot to say about that. There's some children's books that I borrowed things from, and it turned into a little retro page. So this turned out looking like a pour paint page, even though that's not how it came out to be. This was all hand drawn. But I was realizing as I'm like making these waves, that if you vary how the waves are next to each other, so these two lines kind of follow each other, and that's my tendency is to do that. But when you start altering the wave, it looks more natural and fluid, like through here, where it looks like how water flows. Anyway, this was fun. Use some more sparklies, some glitter. You can be the ripest, juiciest peach in the world, and still there's going to be somebody who hates peaches. So again, I'm a recovered people pleaser, and so there is that tendency in all of us at some point, to we all want to be loved, we want to be affirmed, we want to be validated, but sometimes there's just nothing you can do. That people are just, you can be the best you in the world, and someone's not gonna like you. That's just life. But I really like how this page turned out a lot, actually. I like how the colors kind of, like it over here, it's all like this pinks and purples and kind of warm, and then it kind of goes into the yellows and oranges, and down here a little bit of greens. I don't know. I just really like it. Okay, this was another super popular video. I think because I need to make my titles a little bit more interesting. I'm so averse to manipulation. I do not like I don't like marketing. I don't like clickbait. I don't like trying to sell something, as more than it is. And so I've always just been kind of generic in my titles, like, oh, page number, whatever, in my art journal. But I think of this title was like, try using a random blind draw method to choose your colors. And that's what I did. And it was a really fun exercise. Like I put all my markers under a towel and just reached in to decide which color I was going to do next. And it was a fun exercise, but I think that like prompted the curiosity for people to click and go, oh, that sounds interesting. And I realized that I need to do that more if I want to get more traffic on my channel. And I do want to try to grow my channel, but I also want to just be committed to just being me. I don't want to do what everybody else is doing or whatever. But I really would be grateful if you do enjoy my videos, if you do all the things to tell YouTube to promote my channel, which means just liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. And especially on this video, I'd really love to hear like what your favorite pages were. This was inspired by, I think this one was Robin Mead. She does this kind of a similar style, and I love it. I really like a lot of these. I'm like, I want to do that again. I want to do a similar style to this again soon. So probably in my next journal, I will. But I have a tendency to go crazy with details. And if I am just like relaxing and I don't have a time limit, I can do that. But I also want to experiment with some like just different ways of doing things. And one thing I liked when I looked at her inspiration piece was just like there were big chunks of sections that just had solid color. So not every little pocket of space was filled in with details. And so I experimented with that. And yeah, I think I hit just the right amount for me. It was like detailed enough where it didn't feel too plain or boring, but it was totally a lot of fun. Decision. I love the feeling. I wish you could feel this. It's like Braille. Again, I used modeling paste with stencils to get that raisedness, raised feel, whatever. It feels like it's embossed. I did some collage photo ahead of time with book pages and just paint. And this was processing a dream that I had that was really, I don't even remember the whole dream. It was like a really quick thing. And it was kind of as I was waking up, and I just really felt like it was God stood there with a big black piece of paper or chalkboard or something in it. And it just at the top, written in white, was the word decision. And I knew what it meant because it was just about like not being so swayed back and forth with my feelings. How do I feel today? Do I feel like doing this? Do I feel like doing that? It's like I need to decide, if I'm going to be the kind of person that I know I need to be. So anyway, that has a lot of personal significance, but yeah, it was fun to make. And then this is the last page in my book. Be yourself because everyone else is already taken. I think officially there's no because in the quote, but be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. Again, as I was coming to the end of this and assessing the whole YouTube channel thing, it's so easy for me to look at somebody else's stuff and go, oh, they're better, or I should be more like them or whatever. And I just have to remind myself, like, God made me the way that I am. He gave me my own brain. There was one time when I was singing a song, I think it was a worship song, and it was I was trying to like sing it in the style that the artist sang, and I don't know, I was like altering my voice, and I felt like the Holy Spirit was like, "What are you doing? Like that's the other person's voice. Like I want to hear you sing to me in the voice that I gave you." So um yeah, I try to just remember that. I can't be anybody else anyway. They're already taken. So yeah, that's my page. Yeah. Metallics. Oh, I just had gotten some metallic paints, which is what I used for the cover. Yeah. So I really love working in these composition notebooks because they're really strong. Like I always take out some pages because this is pretty chunky. And as I was working at the end, it gets pretty, it gets really kind of rounded here. But the cool thing about it is the binding is so strong that when you're working if you're working like that and it's getting like really rounded, you can flip it and work. Well, that's not a very good example. Let's say, yeah, so that would be about half and half, right? And then if you were to clip this down, like it would lay flatter in the gutter, and so it's really easy to work in, and it's just not as precious. I don't know. It's just cheap. It was literally $1, or maybe less, or free. Like I've got like leftover ones from my homeschooling that my kids only used a few pages, and so I just repurposed it, and so I don't know. There's something about that helps me loosen up any inhibitions. Just wanting to make it too nice. All right, well, that is my flip through. That's my second composition art journal that I have done ever in my life. And I'll leave a link to the first one. I have made a video of every single process on every single page. So if there is a page on here that you like and you want to go back, you can always go back and find it on my channel to watch the process. And I thank you so much. If you have made it all the way here to the end, congratulations. I wish I could, buy you a cup of coffee or, give you some chocolate or something. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope that you are inspired to just go have fun, be yourself, make art, make good art, make bad art, make whatever. Just enjoy life. I hope that you'll come back and hang out with me again, and we'll see you next time.